Hey guys, what's up? It's another chilly day out here. I'm gonna be taking apart the inner tie rod on my Civic today because it's fucking loose. I'll jack it up and show you what the problem is, just so you can replicate it if you have the same thing. But what I'm gonna be doing is using a inner tie rod remover. It's a thing you could rent at a local auto parts store, or if you have one, they're pretty useful if you drive shitty cars all the time or like replacing them or whatever. But I have a old subframe assembly with sway bar and fucking steering rack and shit. So I'm gonna take well, it would actually be, what side am I gonna take off? I think it's this side. Yeah, I'm gonna take off this side right here. And this one looks real fucking nice, actually. Like, nothing's wrong with it, minus it being rusted down here, but that's nothing some WD-40 can't kill. And grease it up and see if it fucking works, and if it's all good, we'll have a nice new inner tie rod and not have a bunch of fucking shaky steering wheel no more. That would be awesome. Luckily in this area there's so many fucking people with Civics that if you part one out, you can get rid of almost everything on the car. I just got rid of, I'm sure if anyone's seen any of the old videos, there used to be a silver Civic. There used to be a silver Civic sitting right here. And you can still see the marks that they used to scrape that bitch out of here, because I kept the steelies and everything off of it. I still got the trans for it, motors in the garage, and over here is where I'm gonna find that steering rack in a little bit. I just got a big old bin of parts just sitting here. I'm sure it's all the way at the bottom down there. There's interior parts, there's jack stands, there's shit, I don't know, everything there. There's even an intake in there somewhere. So, yep. The tool we're going to be using looks kind of like this. No power locks. How awesome, right? Well, it's supposed to have power locks, but they don't work. But that's none of my concerns right now. So this is what it looks like. Basically, this fits in to the steering rack this way, and you attach a impact gun right here. It looks like it's been beat the shit out of, and just twist that thing out pretty much, and that's it. And then you do the same thing putting it back in. You need this tool to do it. I don't think there's any other way to do it, to be honest with you. If you have a way, show me, please. Ooh, there's a new gimbal. Yep, for some cool shit. Go to car meets and whatnot. Where is the bag? Here it is. There's so much shit in this car, man. I got an OBD2 scanner. I'll have a video up on that soon. It works. It's cool. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get that old one off. And I probably won't take you guys along for that one, but I'll take that one off, and we'll go back over to the car and do the full one on the car afterwards. Alright guys, so I went and I got the old inner tie rod off of the subframe that I showed you back in behind the shed. But now what I wanted to show you is how you can tell you have bad inner tie rod or tie rod in general. So I have my wheel off and stuff, and usually you want to do this with the wheel on, actually, because you have a bigger radius to kind of shake. It's a little bit easier to do while if your hands are close together. You have to use more force to feel all of the issues, but while you have the tire on, you're able to kind of move all of this a lot easier, or at least play with it. So in my case, it's so bad that I can have the wheel off and just kind of grab the rotor on the side here, and if you can listen. So that noise is actually coming from right in here. If I can slide this boot off. Now I can check out in here and how disgusting the inside of that thing looks. So we're gonna be replacing that today. There's our problem. Oh, let's see if we get a close-up of this. That thing's full-blown moving side to side. And that's really the only problem I have on my suspension right now, surprisingly. When I got this thing, everything was broken, man. This subframe right here, My first video ever. Actually, we went and replaced the entire subframe on this car, which was a job and a half. Like, great first YouTube fucking video, dude. An entire subframe replacement on this car. I bought this thing for $400. I probably have like around $1,000 into it now, I would say. With like, I'm including registration. Like, it was $300 to register this car. So like, I'm doing pretty good. Ooh, this inner tie rod's fucked. So we're gonna actually replace that too. We're gonna put the, yeah, look at all that grease that just came off the back of it. I just touched it and felt all that shit come off. So we're gonna be replacing this too, I guess. So the next thing I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna measure. Since the tires are relatively straight right now, I'm gonna measure from the center of this part of the tie rod, where it connects to the spindle and everything. From here, I'm gonna measure to the end. Once I get the, actually, where the fuck am I gonna do this? Yeah, back here, where the tie rod comes off. Measure from here to here. I'm gonna get a distance, and I'm gonna get a good kind of idea of how far this is, so I can put it back to the same thing, so my toe isn't all fucked up when I drive a little bit later. I gotta go to work in a little bit, you know? So I'm not trying to drive down the highway looking like an idiot. Especially with these bald-ass tires. I'm gonna go try to pick up a new set of tires. There's a guy on Facebook selling a set of Steelies for $400. They're gonna be way better than those fucking bald-ass things. So yeah, time to take this thing off. I'm gonna go measure it up, rip it off, and I'm gonna get you guys in for the removal of the inner tie rod, since the outer tie rod is pretty self-explanatory. Take the cotter pin out, the kingpin, cotter pin, and you remove this nut, and then you're going to want to bang on the outside of the arm. You don't want to hit the threads, or if you do try to hit the threads, at least have the nut on it and hit the nut instead of the threads so you don't ruin them. This one, I guess it doesn't matter because I'm going to be tossing this one anyway, so this one's fucked. I can hit the threads out of this one all day. But if you're trying to get one out of another car or some shit, then you don't want to do that. This one, definitely going to hit the fuck out of this one, just for fun. Okay, so I've measured a couple distances. I measured from the back to here when it was all connected, and that was about a foot long, a little bit longer, but we're going to try to get that perfect. Here it was just about 3.5 inches from the inner bolt to right about here. So we'll see if we can get it right the first time by just doing some measurements. Fuck if we can't do it, like I'll just do the alignment thing that I did previous videos ago. Not a big deal. But basically, now we're going to have to use the tool I was talking about earlier. So the things you're going to need is going to be the inner tie rod remover. You're going to need a set of these like inserts that go into here to actually take the tie rod off. There's a number of sizes for different cars. This is the one for this one. And you're going to need a breaker bar. What happens when you use an impact wrench is that right there. So like an air compressed ratchet or fucking electric impact wrench definitely kind of screws that up. But the fucking breaker bar works actually kind of better. It's just one little crank and it's off ready. So first what we're actually going to do is we're going to slide this on. Kind of like that. So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take this and I'm going to have to sneak it in there behind there. And what it does is it clips in like that. Then you slide this little retainer over to hold it in. So I'm going to do that same thing. So now what I'm going to have to do, I got the camera sitting on the breaker bar. Now what I'm going to have to do is just slide this breaker bar in here. Oops. You're going to want to keep tension towards you on this. Unfortunately, I'm fucking having to put a breaker bar in an oblong 1/2-inch socket end. Oh, fuck, man. This thing's a bitch. There we go. Alright. Son of a bitch. I think I'm still on now. Alright. I'm just going to give it a little crank. And that's it. So you can pop that back off, unsecure that, that'll slide off. Take your adapting piece off. That should be free to come out real easy. So there you can tell that's a really shitty old fucking tie rod, man. Super gunked up, just not worth it anymore. And we're going to be replacing it with this guy right here. Looks much, much better, a lot newer. Okay, so now I went ahead and cleaned this out, used some carb cleaner, whatever, fucking clean this out, and then I put just a little bit of like some grease on there. Now we're gonna be spinning the new one in. New / old, actually. It's technically a used part, right? So I took it off that other subframe I had from that silver Civic. Alright, and it's going to be pretty much the same process putting this back in. You're going to go ahead and put your adapter piece on, not upside down so it falls, but up here, like that. So it stays there for a second. You're going to grab this guy, kind of hold it with your fingers on the back, and clamp that down. Go ahead and slide in my breaker bar. Whoop, don't want to lose my spot there. And tighten it. That should be good. You don't want to over tighten these guys. Alright. So now we've got that part done. Boots are always the death of me, man. They always give me a hard time. I'm going to measure this out, and I'm going to readjust this to the measurements I had last time, and hopefully it works the right way. But basically that's it. I just tightened this up. I'm going to reinstall the outer tie rod, make sure the measurements are good, pop the tire back on, and task is complete for today. So I don't really need to drag you guys along for any more of this. You got the gist of it. It was really just showing you how to use the inner tie rod tool. And just taking you around for the day. So I'll see you guys later. Peace out.